Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's live, session of Let's Talk About Market. So we are seeing some interesting trend today. The 61.8% retracement level, which is at 25 120 level. That the Nifty index seems to be breaking on the upside, and it is kind of sustaining above that. So now the bigger question is that whether this will hold on and whether Nifty will build up on that, or will we see a resistance and will be correct. I mean, that is a question that is on my mind. So we'll dig deeper into the data. What are the various data points telling us, and what is the probability of Nifty breaking out or halting over here? So those all will be the discussion points. So I'll quickly share my screen, and please let me know once you all are able to see my screen properly. Okay, and more importantly, if you all are able to hear me as well. Is my screen visible to everyone, and can you all hear me? Please put it in the comment box. If you all are able to hear me properly and if you all are able to see my screen, please put a message in the comment box. Okay, thanks, Sudhir ji. Uh, so when we look at the Nifty index, so one interesting thing that is happening is that the Nifty index. So in yesterday's trading session, in fact, was interesting. That is because the Nifty had closed above the daily averages, and today the Nifty index is on the verge of giving a bullish crossover, provided it holds on to this level. And when we do the retracement, so when we do the retracement from top to bottom, the 61.8% is say somewhere around 25 120 levels or so. Okay, so far the Nifty index is trading above that, but the bigger question is that whether it will sustain above it or no. I mean, that is something that even I am wondering, and even I am trying to find that answer. And frankly, to be very honest, I'm getting a little mixed answer, and I'll describe why I'm getting that mixed answer. Okay, but yeah, broadly, this is the setup that we have. The Nifty index trying to sustain above the 61.8% retracement level, and there is a bullish crossover in the Nifty index as well. Now, when we look at in terms of sectors, there are some setups that looks promising. So say, for example, Bank Nifty index, we had discussed this yesterday. In fact, Bank Nifty breaking above this resistance level is a very, very good sign. Uh, yeah, Bank Nifty index breaking above this resistance zone is a very, very good sign. Now we need to see whether it sustains above it or no. And also why this level is important is because when we do the 61.8% retracement from top to bottom, okay, so this 61.8% level also comes to around 56,074, which yesterday itself was broken. But today, if the Bank Nifty sustains above it, that will be even better. So that will again be a good sign. And the other thing that I had discussed with you all yesterday, which is the CNX IT, which is the IT index. Okay, over here also what we had seen was a close above this resistance zone, right? So this again was a good sign, which will indicate that this breakdown was possibly a false breakdown, and now the index is possibly willing to get, rise higher. And also what we are seeing is a bullish crossover that can possibly happen today. So all this is again, giving me some encouraging sign. Now, but when we look at the hourly averages, it has broken above the hourly averages and sustaining above that as well. So all these things gives a little bit of confidence that probably the Nifty index might eventually break out on the upside. Now, there are some other strong reasons why that can also happen. That is because when we look at the sentiment data, I mean, in the past 3 days, the FIs have been relentlessly shorting. Like you see over here. Okay, let me make it bar so it becomes very clear. So this was 1st October. Nifty rose higher 225 points, and they had created minor short. Okay. Next day, it was up 57 points. They created almost around 9,000 contract short. Yesterday, while we were up almost around 183 points, they created almost around 8 9,000 shorts. Okay. I mean, by creating shorts, that means it's a blend of unwinding plus short positions. So see over here that you can see that there was some addition in long, but there was major addition in short. Now, if you see for the last 3 days, okay, some built up in long, but major built up in short. Some built up in long and major built up in short, and that's why in the net 3 days they have almost shorted around 21,000 contract. And the thing is that when we look at their positioning, I mean, from bad it is getting worse. So now you can see that I think the all-time low shorting that we have the data is almost around 2 lakh contract, roughly around 2 lakh contract, and now it is almost reaching 1 lakh 97,000 contract. Okay, almost back to where we were. And in fact, if you see in long percentage, it had hit this 5.98 mark on the expiry end, and after that it has been around 7%, but this 7% again is almost the lowest that we have ever seen. Okay, in whatever data that we have since 2012, it is the lowest. So that indicates that the medium term picture looks very good, and to expect a big crash something like this, when the positioning is so short, it looks a difficult. Only a black swan event can lead to this kind of move. Else, if everything being normal, I think we should these things should eventually resolve on the upside. Now, if we sustain about the 61.8% retracement level, the then the major breakout level could be around this resistance line. Okay, so let me draw it very properly. So it would be, say, somewhere around this 25,450 level. I mean, see, we'll have to go in this case by case. So if uh, 61.8% retracement is broken on the upside, okay, then we would start expecting that the rise can stretch higher towards this trend line, which is somewhere around 25,450 levels. And once this 25,450 level is broken out, what it will lead to is a higher top higher bottom formation and a breakout from this bigger cup and handle, which is also possibly forming. So that way we'll get multiple confirmations about 25,450. But yes, that's where the setup is. Now, where is it that there is a bit of a concern? I think, yeah. Before that, I just want to let you know that on Saturday we'll be doing a Zoom webinar that would be live, where you can also interact with me, ask your questions and get it clarified. So that we'll be doing it on Saturday. We would just like to know which is the topic that you might want to have a webinar on. Please help us doing that so that we also try and do relevant webinars for you. I mean, it can be anything, whether you just want a Q&A or whether you want webinar on a specific topic, be it RRG, I mean futures, then sentiment, or anything like, or how to scan stocks, how to find strong stocks, any of the webinars that you would want me to keep it. Please help me with the comment, so that we can try and do the webinars that you want and not what we think would be important. So please help us finding the right topic, and please comment over here. Okay, webinar or risk reward? On risk reward, uh, see, Biju, I okay, thanks for the suggestion. But see, I want to keep it something which is conceptual. Okay, risk reward and all those things, these totally depend on people's risk appetite and many people might have a different approach to that. So we would want to keep it a little more generic and to the concept. Okay, risk reward is something that is very what you can say. I mean, depends on person to person. So please try and suggest some topic, that would be conceptual learning for you all, and that can help you to, screen or find stocks, effectively. It can be anything, by the way. It can be insider trading as well. Or please let us know, what you would want to have a webinar on. Okay. So please do put in the comment. I am, again going back to the topic of discussion, which was Nifty Index. Now, see, what is honestly bothering me a little bit. So this is more of a very, very short-term view. Okay, is that if you see the daily swing, it had almost gone to 84 yesterday, and today we are seeing some dip. Now, you might wonder why this dip is happening. So, if you go to the heat map, and there is this advanced decline intraday chart. Okay, so this gets updated every day. So once in a while I look at this. So if you see the Nifty total market, you can see that the losers have increased much more dramatically in in last 10-15 minutes, and you are seeing a dip in the AD ratio as well. And in fact, since morning, the advance was good. They were higher, but it is now dipping down, right? So that's where, this momentum swing, that is sort of indicating that the momentum of the stocks on the upside is losing steam, and that's where it can see some correction over here. So whether we get some sort of consolidation, or some sort of sideways movement, that is very much possible, and that cannot be ruled out. Okay, so is this kind of thing possible? Definitely it is possible, and that is where a minor risk is. Also, the other thing, which I have been lately talking about, is the call minus put histogram. Okay, this again, you can see, has reached some sort of an extreme over here, and you can see that usually when we see a lot of put short as against call short, you end up with this histogram going in red, which means there are more put outstanding contracts than call. And typically what happens is that we tend to lose a little bit of momentum from here. Okay, which means you might end up seeing something like this, if at all, even it has to rise higher. Take it for example over here. In these cases, basically it was more or less a top formation that happened, but in between, whenever it used to happen in the middle of the uptrend, over here also you can see that there was this red bar on the downside. After that, we saw some consolidation, and then only it rose higher. So typically the setup that I look for extreme short term tops and bottoms is basically this template that I've created, where we have daily swing, daily average swing, and call minus put. So mind you, over here, if all the three are in this mode, okay, which means that this call minus put is in red, average swing is at 80-90, and daily swing is at 80-90, then it is surely a worrisome pattern. So over here, if not anything, then at least a pullback is due. Okay, but over here you can see it's 2 out of the 3 indicators that pointing out towards overbought zone. So that way, ideally, if this also would have been somewhere over here, okay, and it was dipping, then I will be a little more concerned about whether the top has been formed, or what is happening. But as of now, there is relatively a meaningful room left in average swing. So maybe we might just consolidate or hover over here. So in such cases, it is very prudent to manage your risk properly, which means that now that we are seeing the Nifty index also coming towards the 61.8% retracement, and in fact trading slightly above that only. So in such cases, you will have to manage your risk, in which case, you can probably tighten your reversal level to 20, 40, and so on. Over here, you can see the hourly 20 is still far away. So, whether do you want to tighten it with lower time frames like 30 minutes, 15 minutes? I mean, these are your choices. So, but definitely it's, worth noting that over here, Nifty might end up facing some significant resistance. So need to buckle up and need to tighten the reversal level, because we don't know whether this might end up forming a top or we might correct. Because if you all remember, while we were falling continuously over here and swing, average swing, everything had got to oversold. So, that time I had mentioned that if not anything, then at least a pullback towards the 61.8% retracement is possible, right? And that has come about now. So, now it's time to be a little more watchful. Honestly, if you ask me, the bias is that eventually we should rise higher. But in the very near term, especially if you're an option trader and so on, and you have to time. So that's where, a little bit of timing becomes important. Okay. So that's about it. I think broadly this is there. And also one important observation was on the open interest. If you see, 25,150 has a significant open interest addition today, even 25,100. And today being the weekly expiry, it looks like the range should be between 25,100 to 25,200. So probably, I'm expecting the expiry somewhere over there. And if you see the option mein max pain ka trend level, okay, which is, at what point where the expiry can possibly happen, it might be 25,150. Now, as I mentioned to you, when we are into the weekly expiry, we need to look at the synthetic price. Generally, the synthetic price is somewhere plus or minus 10, 15 points, above or below I mean, it will obviously be above the spot price. Okay. So in this case, if our spot price is say somewhere around 25,150, the fair price would be, or the synthetic price would be somewhere around 25,160 or so. So, in that sense, you will have to look at the options data with that perspective. So that suggests that 25,150 is an important support level for today. So as per the max pain, as I had mentioned, I mean, this is the point where the option buyers will lose the most and the option sellers will gain the most. So if the expiry happens is somewhere around 25,150 or so, the option sellers will tend to benefit. And typically in the market, we assume that the option sellers, I mean, this is an assumption, no offense to anyone, but option sellers are the one where we need to keep a close eye on, because they risk larger amount of money for a small premium. So that's where, it is believed that they are more informed, and they do a lot of studies, and then only they build their position. So that's where I think 25,150 will be a very important level to watch out for. So on the spot, give or take 10, 15 points up or down. So basically, somewhere around 25,130, 25,140, that will be an important support level from a options data perspective. Okay. And all you need to do today is to check, how this options is unfolding. If you want, you can, just check last. So we started at 11, and I think the advanced decline also started, going to the negative side almost around 10:55 or so. And see over here, you can see that there is now some unwinding that is happening on 25,150, 25,200. Almost a lot of unwinding has happened, but there is a put built up that is happening in 25,050 and 25,100. So this, you need to monitor and see whether the calls are building up or no, and so on. So that will help you to get a good idea about the trend and what is to be expected. But broadly, as I mentioned, if you see the max pain trend, that is pointing out towards 25,150 as the max pain level. So give or take, somewhere around there, ideally the expiry should happen, provided that the max pain level doesn't change. Okay. So that's it. I think I have from my side for today for discussion. If you have if you have any further questions, we can take it up. Okay, and once again, as I mentioned, please let us know. We will be doing a webinar on Saturday. That would be live one-to-one. I mean, live Zoom session where you can ask me questions one-on-one. Let me know which topic do you want me to take the webinar on. So we can plan accordingly and give value to you all as well. Okay, for the time that you will be spending with us for that webinar. So please do comment which webinar do you want to learn. I mean, which concept do you want to learn more about? I guess I have got a request from NCT about long-term investors. So please, I would want maximum participation so that we can come up with a better topic which everyone might like. Okay, but NCT definitely noted your point. We'll take the feedback from people and see what they exactly want. Okay, how many times in the past, even after Nifty daily swing, Nifty has risen higher before correcting? So you can see the data by yourself, but say all I can say is that when the trends are very strong, okay, or you're coming out of a big bearish phase, that's where the markets will keep rising higher and the swing might fall a bit, and you might end up seeing some divergence like you see over here, right? Over here, around this point only, the swing had got to overbought, but we still got few more points on the upside. I mean, few more room on the upside, and only after that we went for a consolidation. So typically, looking at swing and average swing, both will help us much better to time this move. But of course, even swing, coming to 80-90 itself is also at least can be a warning sign if you are an option trader, because see, as we speak over here, Nifty index has corrected almost 80 points from the top, right? It's now at 125 levels or so, which is almost back to 61.8. So that way, the combination of this setup, call minus put histogram, when all three are in overbought, I mean, this bar is in red and it is meaningful red, plus daily swing at overbought zone, average swing at overbought zone, all this coming to an overbought zone, this can be a sign of problem. But when two of the three indicators are there, you can say that there can be some more room left on the upside. So that's why I mentioned, probably trailing will be the best method in that case. If if your time horizon is very short, probably you go down to 15 minutes, 30 minutes time frame and see basically where the road setup is working properly, which means where is it that the bands are held and so on. So wait, let me give you this live example only. So daily it is this. Let us try and dig deeper into which time frame it is behaving well. So you can see over here the 20-day setup is acting very well over here, right? In 15 minutes also, you can see that this setup is actually even better in 15 minutes. So ideally, below the 20 period of 15 minutes, I would expect that there can be some correction towards the 40. Okay, but you can see over here that the 20-40 have been working very well. So I would expect that if the Nifty index has to continue its up move, then the 40 period should not break on the upside, I mean on the downside. Okay, so that's where it might continue to rise higher and inch higher, taking support. So yes, I mean that is how you need to take it. So it all depends on your time frame, what time frame you are looking at. Okay, Sudhir, see, frankly, I am not that good in options. I think Mohit Agarwal is very good in options, and we have done multiple webinars with him. Please go to the Strike YouTube channel. So I'll just show you. You can go to Strike Money and Strike YouTube channel. Okay, and over here, just type OI Insights webinar, and you will be able to get a good insight on the webinar which Moiji has conducted. Okay, you can either go to all, I mean, or even in videos. I think the recent one we had uploaded a video of that. So if you see over here in video, okay, this was the latest one, done by Mohit Agarwal. So if people are interested in options, you can please have a look at this. So futures, point taken. We will try to do that. Many times, even after daily swing. Yeah. So Mahesh, I told you, well, those will happen when the trends are very bearish. Okay, and the Nifty index is coming out of a very strong, bearish move. That's when all, these things can happen. And that's where I mentioned that we follow Elliott wave, so that's where it works well for us, because we look at it in terms of Elliott wave as well, right? So so yeah, I think that daily swing itself can be a sign of caution, but you need a price action reversal. For price action reversal, you will have to go back to the charts and keep looking at the averages and trail it. That is how you will be able to time your entry and exits more properly, and you will be able to ride the trend with confidence as well. Okay, so if you have, say, a 1 week kind of time horizon, so despite swing coming towards the higher level, you might still want to trail it based on 20 hour or 40 hour, and you can still ride it. But if your time horizon is 1 or 2 days, then maybe you might want to come down to 30 minutes and 15 minutes, and then time your entry and exits more appropriately. But daily swing, call minus put histogram, these are all extremely helpful for people who are dealing in options and specifically if their time horizon is very very less. Say if they're doing for weekly time frame or something like that, then it becomes a very very helpful tool for them. Okay, and that was basically the point of discussion today. Webinar on entry exits for long term trades. Okay, I think I got two requests for long terms. One was by N Sethi and one was from Biju also. So I think maybe strike valuation setup could be a good topic, to take on, because this will help us combine fundamentals, technicals, and help us, sort of try and understand how to time it, and how to think about entry and exit. But once again, like I mentioned, exit, risk reward, these are all things that depends on individual. But anyways, I'll try to put up the best idea of how we think about it, and of course later on you can alter as per your risk appetite and your want for the returns. So yeah, I think then maybe strike valuation setup can be a very very good topic. I think we haven't done it for quite some time. So fine, I think valuation setup will keep this as the topic for the Saturday's webinar. Okay. So yeah, I think thanks for feedback, and good you all gave us that, because it clicked me that even strike valuation we haven't done it for quite some time now. So it should be a good discussion. Can we consider Nifty Auto for long? So Mohan, I think Nifty Auto has a good pattern in that sense that there was this correction on the daily chart that you can see. It had come back almost towards the averages, and from there it is starting to pull back. I mean, to rise higher. So in that sense, I think we had spoken about this. I think few days back when on RRG it was in weakening and it was trying to turn around. Uh, Maybe I can show you with the RRG graph as well. You might be able to relate it much better, I would guess. So over here, see, basically what was happening was that the auto ka momentum was rising higher. Okay, we still need some turnaround over here, which is not happening. So if at all, we end up getting a close above the 20-hour or 20-day, and there is a bullish crossover, it can be a good indication that a new leg of up move could be starting. So yes, the expectation would be that probably this new all-time high gets challenged at some point of time, as the prices are trading above the daily and the weekly averages. I mean, daily averages, it is trading above that, so that's a good sign. I just need to check how the hourly setup is. So hourly also does, it has seen a nice consolidation over here. Actually, this is BSE Auto. Let me take, yeah, NSC Auto. So over here, again, I mean, it is trying to break above the daily averages. So I think if it closes above the daily averages, the 20-day especially, maybe this swing low could be an interesting level. And if that holds, you might expect a, retest of the previous high. And all the reason for stating that is because if you see, the daily RMI, that has gone back to the zero line. So it has seen a good enough consolidation now. And, if we see this price closing above, the 20-day, it can be a good sign. And 61.8% retracement is at 27,190. So 27,190, if we get a closing above that, then you might also end up seeing a bullish crossover. So, in the short term, in the very near term, 27,190 will be a close watching point. If it breaks above that, then you can expect price to rise higher towards this high, and probably even towards the all-time high, which is of so all-time high is somewhere around 27,700. Okay, so that is almost back towards this high only. So yeah, the setup looks interesting. Need to see how it plays out. So any more questions you'll have? If not, then we can wind up for the day. I'll wait for a minute or so to see if there are further more questions. Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. Thanks for asking the question. Okay, I think I'm not seeing any questions. I'll wait for a minute. Okay, so and once again, as I mentioned, strike valuation setup, we'll try to take that as the webinar for this Saturday. It might actually be helpful for short-term traders as well. Short-term meaning the guys who are interested in 1 to 3 months kind of outlook, and it will actually be very beneficial for medium to long-term investor as well. Okay. So at least, given that the markets are at highs and, some stocks are weakening. So what are the setups that we need to look out for? I think that will be a good discussion point for Saturday. So fine. I think I can't see any more questions. So let's catch up tomorrow and see whether the Nifty closes about 25,120 and whether it sustains above it or no. And more importantly, let's see how the day play out in the next few hours, because we have this weekly expiry today. So the option range was suggesting overall range of 25,100 to 25,200, and 25,150 was the max pain trend area that was suggesting that maybe the expiry can happen somewhere over there. So all these things will be the watching point for today, and let's see how the Nifty trends tomorrow. So once again, thanks a lot for joining the session, and see you tomorrow.